There are times when you will be using inequalities with two variables and you will have to graph them. Before we worked with graphing inequalities with one variable in which we just had an open or a closed circle and we just had to determine whether it was going right or left. Well, with two variables, there's a lot more that you have to determine based on what is going on. So let's say that I want to graph y is greater than negative 2x plus 4. So I have my coordinate plane here in which I am going to graph my inequality. I'm going to graph that line. The great thing is this is already in y equals mx plus b form. So that's the key. If it is not in y equals mx plus b form, you need to change it. So the first thing I am going to do, I'm going to plot that 0 comma b like normal. So in our case, 0 comma 4. My second step, like normal, is going to be use the slope to plot second point. So our slope is at negative 2 over 1. So we can go up 2 and left four. We can go down 2 and right 1. Because of where my graph is situated, I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. I'm going to continue that pattern all the way across my graph. The reason why is because it gives me a better picture for this next part. So for step 3, we need to shade. So here's how you determine, or not shade, sorry, that's step 4. We need to figure out if we have solid or dashed. Solid, you are going to have a line underneath the equal to part. If it's dashed, there is no line. So when I'm looking at our inequality, going back up here, we have a greater than. We don't have an equal to, so we are going to go with a dashed line. And the fourth step is determining your shading. So if it's above, the inequality is eating the y. If it's below, not eating the y. And this is determined above the line or below the line that we have graphed. In our case, looking back at our inequality, it is eating the y. So we are going to shade above, which means I'm going to shade everything in this case to the right because that is considered above the line. So what happens if we don't have our equation in standard or in slope-intercept form? We're going to look at it from standard form and how to convert this. So let's say that I have 4x minus 1y is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rearrange this. I'm going to move that 4x over. So I've got negative 1y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 8. Shouldn't have picked a large number, but oh well. I got to divide by that -1. Remember, when I divide by a negative or multiply, I need to flip my sign. This is a part a lot of people forget. So I've now flipped my sign and I can go through and graph. We're going to go by 2's on this. Make it a little bit easier. I'm going to plot 0, comma b. So in our case, that's 0, -8. Step 2 is our slope, which is -4 over -1. 4 over 1, yes, I know. Up 4, right 1. Or, because I'm going by 2's, I'm going to make it so both of those are going by 2's. Or up 8, right 2. I'm going to go with the up 8, right 2, just because my dash mark, my tick marks, are going by 2's. So I'm going to go up 8 and right 2, up 8, right 2. Okay, that's just a quick trick on how to graph when you have your dash marks are not necessarily by 1's. Make it so both numbers, when you're doing your slope, are by intervals of what your tick marks are. 3, we have a solid line. Just because it is equal to. And last but not least, our shade. It's not eating the Y, so we shade below. So in our case, our below for this line is still to the right. All right, so there are times when you will also be asked to graph whether it is a vertical line or horizontal line. The same rules apply. You plot your line, determine whether it's solid or dashed, and determine your shading.